I pop the case. And we're recording. Pat, the first Zoom interview. How you doing, my brother?
Doing well, man. It is an honor and a pleasure to be on the
Be on the
kPodcast.
kPodcast. Hell yeah, man. I appreciate you being here. I mentioned on the last
Of
episode,
course,
yeah, I
man.
gotta
Appreciate you having me.
sip the little tea, you know what I'm saying? Um, I'd mentioned on the last episode that I was gonna have you on to speak about fatherhood. So you're about to be a father and probably any day now, it sounds like, right?
Yeah, man. I mean, honestly, I had convinced myself it was going to happen before Thanksgiving.
Mm.
Now, I'm for sure it's going to happen this week. I think her due date's technically like a week from today.
Okay, and today's
But yeah,
November
man.
30th, by the way.
Yeah. So we're basically just kind of on baby watch. Like we're in that window where it could just drop at any moment, and we'll just have to like jump in the car and ride out. So yeah, man, it's both exciting and terrifying at the same time.
Well, yeah, so this will be your first kid.
Mhm.
I think I mentioned that. So what have you been doing, to prepare mentally? You guys been like baby proof in the house or what's the deal around there?
Yeah, man. Well, it's been a couple kind of different stages. For the longest time, it seemed like it was super just like far off. And then it
Like it was
hit.
never gonna happen.
Yeah, or it was just like we knew that she was pregnant, but like her belly wasn't really showing, or just kind of like a little bit, and it's like things hadn't really start to like kick in, and then like a month or two ago, like maybe a little bit longer than that, but her belly just like blew up, and like she started getting all these
Started popping.
um, yeah, like different like symptom or not symptoms, but like different kind of things going on with her body, and it just kind of reinforced like, oh shit, this is like
It's real
happening
deal.
very
Real
soon.
deal Holyfield.
Yeah, man. So like, you never realize how many like sharp corners and stuff like that you have just like hanging out around your house until you go like looking for them. Um,
Yeah.
and then just like realizing all this stuff you've never had to think about before, or like never had to, you know, worry about getting like a changing table, or like, yeah, like figuring out how to install a car seat in like a car, just shit like you've never really had to worry about. All of a
Well,
sudden you
yeah,
got to
because
figure it out.
what was that?
I was saying, yeah, like all of a sudden you just got to kind of figure it out.
Oh yeah, yeah. Get fucking thrown to the wolves.
Yeah.
No, yeah, and I mean, because you're an only child.
Mhm.
I don't know if you have like nieces or nephews, so I don't know if you have much like baby experience prior to this. You know what I mean? So like, what exactly have you guys been doing? Because I don't have any kids. You know what I mean? I don't necessarily know what goes into. I know bits and pieces from, you know what I mean, but need to hear from the horse's mouth.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's kind of a couple things. Like, yeah, I don't have any brothers or sisters, but fortunately, like, I got a big kind of family, and so
Hmm.
I've had the opportunity to look after a lot of like my like cousins' kids and stuff like that. Even just kind of
Okay.
like, babysit them while all like the adults go out to
Yeah.
dinner, and
Okay.
so that's something where you know it definitely takes obviously some practice, but I think I'm pretty fortunate because I'm a pretty childish dude just in general. And so a lot of times kids and I can kind of vibe out on the same sort of like cartoons, like video games and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. Yeah.
pretty, it's not easy, but you have some kind of common ground and you can build from there. But yeah, I mean, it's like you said on one of your recent podcasts. Like, I was fortunate to have a lot of like friends with kids that were like a couple years, like a little bit older than me, and so fortunately, I've got a lot of friends, especially like where we grew up, when like people start having kids,
Yeah.
pretty young. Like, fortunately, I've got some like friends and stuff that I've been able to talk to and lean on, and kind of like people I trust to like pick their brain. Because like in this, you know, the age that we're living in, like you could honestly go online and buy a book that can kind of tell you like polar opposite things in terms of like what you should do to like raise your child. Like there's so many different um kind of like educational tools or things that are like out there.
Mm-hmm.
So like the consensus that I've kind of gotten from a lot of the people I've talked to are like, I can tell you the things that I went through, and the things that I kind of experienced or learned,
I guess every
but
kid's gonna be different.
you're gonna have a completely different experience with
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And so like the main things that people have told me are like, the classic, like, look, all you got to do is feed them and love them, and the rest will take care of itself. And like that's a very simplistic way to
Yeah.
put it, but yeah, man, it's like no two people are the same, and so we're fortunate because we have a big kind of support system. Like, my wife's parents are both living with us right
Mm-hmm.
now, and my parents are like a couple hours away, so they can be kind of down and around to help out, like in a kind of a snap of a finger. So
Absolutely.
um,
Not to cut you
yeah, I
off.
think
I
no,
realized I didn't really give you an intro at all. Pat and I have known each other since high school. We
yeah,
both went to high school with each other up near Jacksonville, Florida, but he's now living in the Oakland, California area.
yes,
Um,
sir,
with and 'cause I was going to ask you also about Keiko's parents living with you guys. I'm sure that's
Mhm.
going to be a big help once the kid comes and everything.
For
And
sure.
then your parents recently moved out to Reno, which I
Mhm.
completely forgot about till you just said that. So that'll definitely, yeah, that'll help as well. I guess that's a blessing in disguise. But yeah, I just wanted to give Pat a quick intro. Been my boy for fucking many, many years. Been through hell and back with this motherfucker right here.
Yes, sir.
Um, but yeah, back to it. So, but I guess that gets us to living with suegra.
Hmm. Yeah, man. Having me suegros around is definitely come in handy. Like,
Yeah.
I was just talking to my parents actually recently, and they were like, we can come down and help with like laundry or things like that. And Keiko and I are like, honestly, we haven't done the laundry in months.
Got it
Like,
covered.
it's been so helpful with like both her mom and her dad in town,
Uh-huh.
because they kind of have like, it's this Venn diagram of responsibilities where like Keiko's mom will, especially in like the times that we're in now, she's constantly like disinfecting packages, like cleaning the floors, cleaning the
Mhm.
house, like making sure it doesn't get like super dirty and stuff like that. And then she's always, yeah, like doing laundry, like cooking, like trying to help out, like do stuff, because Keiko and I were working, on our day jobs for a lot of the, throughout most of the day, and so unfortunately we don't have a lot of the time to do a lot of the prep stuff that we need. So she's helpful with that, and then now that her dad's here, he's, I think completely re-landscaped the entire house. We
Hell
have
yeah.
10 chickens in our backyard, and so he's
Yeah.
completely like rebuilt and reconfigured like the whole chicken coop. We've got this garden that's like popping in the backyard, and then we've got a 9-month-old puppy that legitimately we bought a
Right
week before
right
we found out
before. Yeah,
that
right.
Megan was pregnant.
I remember getting both of those texts, how excited you were about the dog, and then, dude, you're never gonna believe this.
Yeah,
Talk about timing.
yeah, that shit hits you fast. But yeah, he loves dogs, and so like he's always like taking him on walks. He's actually like out in the backyard playing with him right now.
Nice.
So it's like one of those things where, yeah, we're really like fortunate to have the support system that we have, and like the people around us that can help, because like it really does, like they say, it takes a village. Like, yeah, I've never had kids before. From what I can gather, like it's fucking hard, dude. And so
Yeah.
like the more people you have around to help, especially people that have like been there and done that before, then like, that can't hurt.
Yeah. And like you said, you and I both currently not having kids, seeing other people do it. even in that little time span that we're there, it's like, oh man, that's rough. And it's like now you're living that 24/7. It's not just that
Yeah,
small
yeah.
window peek into it anymore. It's your life.
Well, well, yeah, but I'm sure it's also different. Like if it's your kid as opposed to if it's someone
Oh no,
else's, or like,
absolutely.
again, we're fortunate, I think, to be where we're at in our life. We're like, again, we've had some friends that have had kids that are, a lot younger, and so like I'm comfortable where like I know how to make like a budget and like how to, like be an adult, or at least
Breastfeed.
act as a functioning adult, as opposed to like if I was having to figure out how to take care of a kid and like figure out how to take care of myself at the same time, like I'd be much more nervous. But like, bro, having taken care of some of our drunk ass friends sometimes, like if I can babysit them, like I can handle a kid. You know what I
I'll be all
mean?
right.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, yeah, you and Keiko, I'm sure will hold it down.
yeah, for sure, dude. She's gonna be like the most dopest Peruvian tiger mom. So like we're gonna be set.
Word. And I know you know the gender of the baby, but I was gonna ask if you had a preference, like before you found out, if you were kind of leaning either way. You know what I mean?
Um, I mean, I'd probably say I'd probably be lying if I say I didn't want like a boy, but that's
True.
partly because like I was a boy, and so
Yes.
I knew how to
Yeah, you know the ropes.
I know how that shit works. And so like having grown up with a mom that has three sisters, and then like my wife has four or five aunts. Like I just grew up with these horror stories of like four or five women around the same age, like all growing up in the same house at the same time, and it just sounded like a war zone.
Yeah.
And I
Need
was
to
like,
add some more
I
men to
want
the family.
no, I want no part of that. And
Yeah.
so, but again, man, like being in the time that we're in, and again, I do live in the Bay Area, so I might be a little more out there than some of your listeners, but like we know like the sex of the baby that like when he'll be
Yeah.
born, but like
Yeah.
at some point, like they might reach an age where if they're coming to terms with their like identity, where it's like they might
Things could change.
yeah. And so like again, at the end of the day, like I'm really looking forward to someone to like watch like football with. Like I think I
I know,
told you
yeah. I know
already.
you're gonna get him into soccer.
Yeah, bro, he's gonna be doing dribbling drills by the time he can walk. So yeah, like I'm looking forward to doing stuff like that. But honestly, at the end of the day, like I just want him to be happy and
Yeah,
healthy. Like,
absolutely.
I'm sure it sounds like cheesy, but like I remember yeah, I mean, I played soccer my whole life, and like before I was born, my dad knew fuck all about soccer. Like he was
Mm-hmm.
all about like baseball, stuff like that. And so I remember being like, "Hey, I'm sorry." Like at some point, I was like, "Hey, I'm sorry that I never got into like the things that you were really into. Like I know you wanted me to play baseball and all this stuff, and it didn't work out. So like, I'm sorry that I didn't follow what you were passionate about." And he's like,
Yeah.
honestly, I just love like the look on your face when you like, score a goal or do whatever. Like you look so happy, and like that's all, I want for you to do is be happy. And so like now I get a kick out of him sending me little like Liverpool texts or whatever whenever they play, and like realize like how far he's come from like knowing what offsides was and like things like that.
You had to school him a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. So
No, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
yeah.
Um, I did also want to ask you about how you guys feel about having your first kid in the middle of a pandemic, especially living out
Yeah,
in the
man.
Bay.
Yeah. I mean, for a while, the Bay was doing pretty well. I think things are kind of getting a little hot over here right now. But I mean, it's kind of there's positives and negatives to it. Like, excuse me, I think it's like I think it's shitty. I haven't been able to be in a single like ultrasound or anything like that like the entire time, because out here
Damn.
you're not allowed into the hospital unless you're the person with the like with the appointment. So like
Mm-hmm.
I've legit, driven up, dropped her off out front, and then gone and parked around the corner. And she's like FaceTimed me or like video called me through WhatsApp. And I've just sat there and like looked at the screen on like a little
Yeah.
screen while fucking like messengers are like whizzing by and like flicking people off. And, it's just like,
That's
it's
crazy.
a weird, yeah, it's a weird kind of vibe. And then at the same time, like, we were doing a bunch of classes with the hospital, and they're telling us that basically you have to have a mask on the entire time that like someone else is in the room with you. So like the
Mm-hmm.
entire time that like things are happening, like we're gonna have to have like masks on, which I think is really weird and obviously not ideal. But the other thing I think is kind of shitty is like I remember when like our friend's kid was born, and
Yeah.
like
Shane.
that was like a yeah. Shout out to Shane.
Shout out to
That was
Shane.
like a yeah. It was like a party, dude. Like everyone like came in town, like everyone went to the hospital, like all his family was there, like all
Mm-hmm.
of her family was there. And it was just like this whole like vibe. It was like kind of like a mini like wedding
Welcome to
almost.
the world party.
Yeah, where it's like a bunch of people get together and just celebrate.
Yeah.
And so that was like a memory that always really like stuck out in my head of like, yeah,
Yeah.
like like I love something like that, where like, I know we're all kind of, spread out, but like, somehow like all the boys come together and you can kind of celebrate, and it's like a big thing. And like obviously that's not happening now. Like she can basically bring one person with her, which will be me. And then we think that she's also going to be able to bring her mom with her as her doula. So
Medulla
like
oblongata.
something like that.
What's a
But yeah,
doula? I don't know
basically,
what that is.
so it's like a birth coach. So it's like she's not there
Not
as
like a midwife, sort of.
like not really, because I
I
feel
mean,
like a
granted, I
midwife.
don't really know what a midwife is either.
Well, my aunt is actually shout out to my aunt Kathy. She's a midwife.
Shout out Aunt Kathy.
Yeah. So that's actually been a bonus. So like if we've ever gotten really like sketched out about anything, we've always been to like, text her or something like that, and she'll be like, "No, you're fine." Like she's the person that I used to call in college and be like, "Aunt Kathy, I swallowed a quarter. Am I gonna be okay?" She's like, "Yeah, you're fine. Just slow down when
Stop
you're
drinking liquor.
playing." Yeah, or like slow down when you're playing quarters. Um, but yeah, so she's been able to help and stuff like that. But like a midwife is more like medically inclined, like from like she has her own like patients that she handles their like birth and all this stuff. A
Mm,
doula is just kind of like, from what I understand, like an emotional support person, like someone who's there to help, like kind of not necessarily coach you through it in terms of like
help with the
giving medical
transition,
advice, but
kind of like
yeah, just kind of be there to be like, breathe, you're gonna be okay. Like,
therapist almost.
yeah, again,
Pregnancy.
just like a non-medical support person. So it's like
Okay.
she can't be like, like making like give her more medicine or, make any decisions or things like that. She's just kind of there to help with, being there for the person, or um, yeah, just like to help with the vibe of the room. In case she just like turns on me, I can dip out of there, and then her mom can take over. So,
Yeah,
uh,
that's true.
but yeah, that's the other thing, man. Like it's all the little things that go into it that you don't really think about. Like we had to figure out, we've never been to the hospital that I'm gonna go to, because it's like we both work in the city, and so for the
Hmm.
longest time, Kaiser, the medical center we've gone to, has been the one in the city. But now that we're out here in the East Bay, like
East
we're gonna go
Bay.
to we're gonna go to the one closest to us. So shout out Oakland Medical Center, the birthplace of the current Vice President elect Kamala Harris.
Shout out to Oakland
So
Medical Center. You were.
yeah. Baby boy's gonna be born there.
Nice.
But like we had to figure out what parking lot to go to, what door to go to, like, and then
Map it
once
out
you're in
to a
there,
T.
you gotta learn the layout. You gotta get the lay of the
Yeah.
land. You gotta know where all the vending machines are. You gotta know where the cafeteria is. Because if Keiko says, I want Jello stat, I can't be wandering around on the wrong floor trying to figure out, heads or tails. But
Where's the tapioca?
yeah, yeah, for real. So yeah, it's just like little shit like that. But to bring it back to your original question, I think one of the few positives that there are of having a kid in the middle of like a pandemic is that even when I go like back to work, so like California has a pretty generous like work from home policy in terms of paternity and maternity leave.
Mm-hmm.
So like talking with like some of my friends like back in like Florida, Georgia, around there, like it's just like a couple weeks. Whereas out here, you got like close to like a couple months. You know what I mean? But even when I go back to work, like I'm still gonna be like 10 feet away from where I would be if I'm not working. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I'll still be like working from home.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
that's silver linings.
Well, yeah, because I mean, yeah, just the pandemic and then having a newborn baby in that environment definitely stay home as long as you can.
Oh yeah. Well, and like, I mean, we're pretty much homebodies as it is, so it's not like
Yeah.
it's gonna be a big interruption to our whatever. Like, it's not like we were going out like dancing and like clubbing and stuff every weekend. But like, yeah. Fortunately, we work in an industry that the last 8 months or whatever it is have proven like you don't have to physically be there to do your job.
Mm-hmm.
So like there's already been um, proof of concept basically that you can work completely remotely and do your job. So like there's been a couple people that have already moved to like different places. So that's something where even after we come back to work, like we can be super cautious with actually physically coming back into the office because like we don't have to be there. We've already proven
Come here.
that.
Come on. Rook want to say hi.
Oh man,
Ding,
Sugar
ding,
Moon's
ding.
so jealous. What up, little Root?
Just got a haircut, looking fresh. You know what I mean?
Man, looking
No,
fresh
she
as
just wants
well.
to play. I'm fucking busy, Rook. um, no, yeah, I mean, I'm sure everything is gonna turn out fine with all that stuff. You know what I mean? Because I know you guys play it safe, play it smart.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's the one thing. Like when, like right after we found out that she was pregnant, well, the lockdown had already happened out here, so we were already like completely staying at home. But like, yeah, it's been one of those things where even as other people have just like kind of relaxed or kind of gotten more comfortable with like quarantine life and like going out and doing stuff like that, like it's been really easy for us to just be like, can't risk it. So,
Yeah, absolutely not.
yeah. And by now, like, bro, we got a system down. Like between the four of us, like we're Gucci, man. You know what I mean?
Gucci man. Speaking of which, you see that verses?
I did. I saw bits and pieces of it. I couldn't.
Yeah,
I couldn't stick around for the whole thing, but
I
yeah,
know.
man, it got kind of weird at parts.
Yeah, to say the least. I know you were a little more into the Atlanta hip hop than me. That's why I asked.
Yeah. Well, and like there was I think at the very beginning, didn't Stacey Abrams come out and like have a shout out about like signing up for the recount to
I must have
vote?
missed that part.
I think it was at the beginning, but there was a moment where I was like
What is happening
how
right now?
how are these three people in the same room? But it was tight, man. Did you see the recent what was it, 2 nights ago, the Tyson Jones Jr. fight?
I did not. We were up in St. Augustine for Thanksgiving, and we were out
Yep, yep.
actually that night, so I missed it. I completely forgot it was happening until like 10 o'clock that night.
Yeah. It was
You watched it?
the yeah. I had dude, I was talking to Keiko's dad about I was talking to mi suegro about it and he
Yeah.
was like, Mike Tyson's fighting tonight and I was like, yeah, do you want to watch it? And he's a man that like doesn't show a lot of like emotion or whenever it's like, yeah, what do
He's
you
like
want for
super
dinner? He's just like,
excited.
yeah, whatever you want. And he was like, yeah, I want to watch that. And I was like,
Absolutely.
for sure getting it then.
Oh yeah.
The Jake Paul Nate Robinson fight was maybe the worst boxing match I've ever seen
That
in my
I
entire
keep
life.
hearing more about that one than anything.
Well, it was like if you looked at the tail of the tape, it's like one dude is taller and has like his arms are like 6 inches longer, and like the first, I don't know, round, what was it like 2 rounds maybe? Like the first minute of it, it was like literally like two dudes scrapping in the like street, man, or like in the schoolyard. Like
Bar
they just
fight.
run at each other and like lock up, like throw a couple of haymakers, and then one dude would try like they were trying to put each other into headlocks and stuff, man. It was wild. And
What the
then
hell?
like Nate, like I think he was wearing basketball shoes, dude. He was wearing Jordans, and so he just charged
He
him,
wasn't
and
wearing Nate's?
yeah,
The
he was wearing.
Robinson threes?
I think it was Gator color
Yeah,
Jordans,
yeah. I
but
saw some clips. He looked like he was wearing Nick colors. Because he
well,
used
I
to
think
play
there's
for the
been
Knicks, or didn't he?
yeah, he did. I mean, I think there's been a lot of debate about what color sneakers he's wearing, because I don't think anybody wants to claim it.
I'm
But
also colorblind, so
true, I didn't know you were too. I know your brother is,
yeah.
but yeah, like Jake Paul literally just put his head down and then like punched him in the forehead and just like caught him.
I saw
But
the knockout footage.
yeah, but it's one of those things, dude. If you put Jake Paul in the ring with a 50-year-old Tyson, he will knock Jake Paul the fuck out. Like
Oh,
it's
absolutely.
just like a
I mean,
different.
Tyson's
It's just
knocking
like
out 90% of people with 2 feet.
yeah. Well, I mean, and like Jones Jr. played it pretty smart because he would like run in and like just pop him once and then like kind of run
Get
away and then
away.
like run back. So it was kind of a, I mean, it was pretty apparent it was two 50-year-old dudes. But I mean, I think Snoop Dogg needs to sign a contract
Yeah, I keep
to
hearing about that too.
commentate all boxing matches, UFC, everything from here on out. I would watch that dude. Someone said just put him at a desk with a couple blunts on football Sunday and call it
Yeah.
Green Zone. Let him like basically do that. Like, bro,
Run
I
the
would tune in every.
highlights.
Yeah, but
But he's
yeah,
got
man, it was
that.
just wild. Never thought I'd see Mike Tyson fight again, and like
Yeah,
he's
I wish
definitely,
I saw it.
bro. You see some of them punches, and yeah, you're like, if he catches him, like they said, like no knockouts going into the fight, but like yeah, he's putting down anybody on 2 feet.
They tried to say no knockouts, like you're supposed to stop fighting
Well,
if
no, it's like they weren't like, I don't know, man. The rules were like super weird. The ring was super small, and like they just kept like locking each other up. But yeah, it was like something like 8 rounds, like 2 minute rounds, and then yeah, it was supposed to be. They weren't supposed to like try for a knockout, but dude, once you get in there and you start getting hit, like you're swinging. You know what I mean?
hmm, yeah,
So
that's crazy.
yeah, it was kind of a weird event, but I mean, they got my money. Shit. So,
Yeah, right. Well, I
yeah.
mean, speaking of all that shit, let's say your son decides he wants to box or like play football or a sport that he could be easily concussed. You know what I'm saying? How do you feel about that?
I mean, that is a that's a very appropriate time to have memory loss. That is a topic that is near and dear to my heart. I actually had 3 concussions.
From
Um,
soccer? Or you played
nah,
football for
one
like one season, right? Or something?
Yeah. I got one concussion from playing soccer. My worst one was probably from soccer, and then I got two other ones just from like general like dumbassery. So,
Debauchery.
yeah, man. If I play well, and the thing is, like, if you get one, it's just easier and easier to get them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like it's something that I mean, shit. I'm 32, and like, there's already times where I like forget what I'm saying, like in the middle of a fucking sentence, or like
Yeah.
little stuff where I'm kind of like, ooh, that's not great to happen already. But it's something where I think football in particular, like American football, just because there's so many alternatives. Like, again, I got my concussion playing soccer, so you can get hurt doing that. You can get hurt doing anything.
That's true.
I think like the reason I didn't play football as a kid was because I actually had an uncle, actually part of the namesake of one of my kids' middle name. Shout out my uncle Marty. He was a football coach growing up, and so he told me like don't play pee wee football because they don't teach you how to tackle properly, and so that's how you get a lot of injuries with kids like putting their head down and like fucking up
Mm-hmm.
their necks or like working out when they're um, too young, and then it kind of like stunts their growth.
Yeah, I've heard about that for sure.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of, dude, did you see Nate Robinson as a kid? He was ripped.
No, I
Um,
didn't.
so yeah. Anyways, but yeah. So he's like play soccer up until like you can play flag football, things like that, but play soccer up until you get to high school, and then you'll have built up a bunch of like lower body strength. And then when you get to high school, switch to football, and like everyone playing football, they just work on their upper body, and so you'll be like way ahead of the game.
True.
Um, So I played soccer my whole life, got to high school. I was already dope at soccer, and the football coaches were, a little intense. And so I was like, fuck it, I'm not going to switch sports now. I'm just going
Yeah,
to play
football
soccer.
is just a different
like,
world.
so yeah, like, I think I would be a little bit more open to it maybe when he's older, when he's like can make his own kind of decision.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, you definitely have to run that by Keiko. I think she's
Mm-hmm.
the one with the real final decision. But yeah, if he gets like 16, 17 and he really wants to, maybe him and I can figure something out. But again, I think right now, like there's so many things out there that he can do. And like that was something that I really enjoyed as like a kid. I got to play like every sport. Like I played hockey, baseball, lacrosse, basketball, flag football, soccer, like tennis, wrestling. So it's like I got to try out a bunch of little stuff and kind of figure out what I liked and then just stick with that. So
Mm-hmm.
that's something where, even though I'm gonna make him, sit down and watch all my Liverpool games, my Florida State games with me. I won't subject him to the Bears necessarily, but I want to, introduce him to everything. Um, you know, Flyers, Braves, and then let him make his decision. But at the same time, like you have no idea what he's gonna be into, man. And so
Yeah.
you know, I gotta try and politely be like, hey, this stuff's really cool. Like you should become, you should like this stuff. But at the same
You
time,
should
like,
like this.
yeah, like, you never know what's gonna happen. So, yeah, like with the amount that he like kicks and moves around and stuff in Keiko's belly, he's either gonna be a soccer player or, he's either gonna be the next, star on RuPaul's Drag Race. So it's gonna be
Hey,
like
man.
one of the, and like honestly, either way he goes, dude, I'll be his biggest fan and I'll support him, to the hilt. So
Hell yeah.
yeah.
Hell yeah, man. No, I was gonna ask you that too, actually. So I'm glad you brought that up. Basically, just like whether you were gonna shove all the stuff you like down his throat or kind of just let him, figure it out.
No, I mean I don't know. Like I'll definitely introduce him to it. I mean,
Try to
like I said,
steer him towards this.
I already
Yeah.
bought him a Liverpool soccer ball, and he's got his little FSU onesies and stuff like that. So like, I'm gonna do my best.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like at some point, when he gets old enough to, verbalize his thoughts and speak for himself, if he's like, hey, I don't really like this, I'm not gonna be like,
What if
no,
he's
yes you do. It's gonna be like, all
what
right,
if
man,
he's like, go Gators?
what do you like? I'm gonna be like, get the fuck out. Be like, yo, you've been talking to your Uncle Shane, your Uncle Eric.
Listen,
Uh,
we're done.
I mean, I don't know, dude. That's what happened with Peanut and Frosty. Like their parents met at FSU, went to FSU. Their older brother went to FSU,
Mm,
and then they both flipped it and went to
flip the
the,
script on them.
yeah.
Sometimes you just gotta pave your own path, man.
Yeah, man. I wouldn't. I wouldn't begrudge him as long as he doesn't do it, maliciously. Like seek out the rival of these teams and be like, I'm gonna root for them.
Yeah, right.
But I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, maybe he's super into underwater basket weaving or something. Who even knows? That's the thing is
Sounds
like
kind of lit.
right now I can't even fathom what's going to be popular in 15 years or whatever. Like
Yeah,
highlights make a comeback, and
some shit we never heard of.
yeah, it'd be just like my dad, like just figuring this shit out at the fly. Like, all right, what do you mean competitive backgammon? Like, how does this shit work? So,
I actually,
or like
my dad literally just taught me how to play backgammon this past weekend.
that is
No
some over
bullshit.
Thanksgiving with your family shit for sure, dude.
Yeah. Well, because we got limited games up at the house too. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
He busts
I
out
mean,
this old ass leather briefcase, opened it up, and it was a thing of backgammon. I was just like, "Yo, let's go."
that's one step from like shuffleboard, man. Backgammon is some serious
Basically.
retirement, bro. It's good. Well, especially in that view y'all got, man. That's you could spend your vacation a lot worse. You know what I
Well,
mean?
that he was. I didn't realize he was saying it's like it was an old game that was developed back in Mesopotamia. Like, what the fuck? That's this been around for fucking ever, dude.
I did not know that, man. That's interesting.
Super old. Because I knew
Yeah.
like I like to play chess, and I know that's I mean a couple thousand years old, and I believe it was originated is either China or India. I don't remember which one, but Mesopotamia isn't even you know what I mean like
Cradle of fucking civilization.
yeah exactly. I was like fucking a dude. I guess they're
Damn.
just playing with little pebbles and sticks or whatever.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm gonna have to look into that. It makes sense. Well, yeah.
It's an
Interesting.
interesting game.
Yeah, here dropping knowledge, bro.
Hey man. Is Keiko in there? I wanted her to pop that belly in.
Yeah. You wanna make it there?
Keikito. You don't have to show your face if you don't want to. Just show them how far along you just popped in like a hot air balloon. How you feeling, Cakes? You ready?
No, I've been ready for a month already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
You guys are
I'm ready to go back to.
To quote her earlier today, I'm ready to get this little motherfucker out of me.
Yeah.
get this demon, baby.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Nice.
yeah,
Yeah,
man, bro,
look like a
it's
watermelon.
yeah, bro,
Right?
it's for real like any day. I wish we could have timed this up a little bit better. Whenever she gets a craving for some sweets, whenever that stuff hits her belly, like it's like some alien shit, man.
Starts
Like
going wild in there.
hands, like
I
Like,
need this.
it's like
Chocolate
yeah,
fiend.
yeah, it's wild. Yeah, it's like
like that.
yeah, some
That's
real
hilarious.
face effects shit. But yeah, man, it's
Almost there. You see the light at the
yeah,
end of the
bro,
tunnel.
it's getting ready to pop, man.
Yeah,
So
he's being lazy.
well, I mean, I was 2 weeks late, so
Yeah.
He's daddy.
yeah, you know me, man. I always like to sleep in. If I'm warm and cozy somewhere, I'll have to
Fuck it,
get out.
right?
I'm not going.
Hell yeah.
I
Let me
was like,
relax in here for a little while.
yeah, I'm chill, I'm comfy. So yeah, I was like 2 weeks late. They had to induce my mom.
Yeah.
Um, excuse me. So yeah, we're gonna go. Yeah, a week from today, on her due date, we're gonna go again, and they're gonna do a little ultrasound, and like, um, y'all might not have been able to tell from the belly or from the audio only listeners. My wife is uh 5 foot flat on her tippy toes.
Yeah. It's pretty small.
So I am like 5'10", 5'11". So I was a 9 pound, 10 ounce baby. And so when I told Keiko's doctor that, she's like, I'm not letting this baby get that big. If he's not already here on your due date, like he's
Bring
coming
them out. Bring them
shortly
out. Bring them
thereafter.
out.
Yeah. So yeah. If he's not here by Monday, then they're gonna set a date and he's gonna be here by then.
And
So
he'll be here. If he's not here, we'll make him be here.
yeah. If he's not coming, he's coming. So
That's hilarious.
yeah, man. We have, it's this weird kind of time where literally things could pop like at any moment. Like every time I hear her make like a noise or be like, oof, I think like it's go
Yeah,
time.
yeah, it could
So
be
she'll be like, no, he's just
moments
moving.
away.
Oh yeah. But it's one of those things where there's no set date of where it can happen,
Hmm.
but there's a set end date of like it will happen by this time.
Yeah, no, for
So
sure.
that's like the weirdest thing is like not necessarily knowing when it'll happen, but just knowing like, oh shit, in 2 weeks I'm gonna be,
Well,
Papa
and
Bear.
I'm sure you guys aren't opposed to him coming early. Not too
No,
early.
bro, I would have bet that he would have been here. If you'd have asked me midway through November, I would have bet you, yeah, 2 weeks ago, I would have bet irresponsible amount of money that he would be here by Thanksgiving.
That he
So
was
it's
going to
like,
be the Thanksgiving turkey.
yeah, we were both then convinced, like, oh, it's this week. Oh, I think it's tomorrow. I think it's this week, whatever. And we'll talk to the doctor and she'll be like, no, don't worry, he's going to take his time, he'll do this. But like, just Keiko keeps mentioning like the way her body like feels or the way it seems to be changing.
Mm.
And it's one of those things where like, again, I'm convinced like, yo, this shit's happening this week. So yeah, it's and that's the weird thing from like, again, doing work. Like think about, on any given day in your job, you could just get this call from Ruka that's like, yo, it's time. And then you just got to drop
Yo.
everything you're doing for like, at least a week or two.
Yeah.
And then like just being in this weird moment where like you don't know what to work on or like what to, try and prioritize because you have no fucking idea how much time you've got before you just got to be like deuces. So, yeah, dude, this is weird, like in between space where you're constantly ready and then never kind of knowing,
What the
what you're
hell's
going
going to
to do.
happen?
Yeah.
Well, and it's even crazier just because I'm pretty sure this will be, the most impactful thing of your life up to
Yeah,
this
bro.
point.
Like things will never be the
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
same.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not just like, you ordered like some, sweet like set of like shoes or something like that and you're like, oh, the Amazon package could get dropped off like at any moment, like this is going to be great. It's like at any moment your life will change for the rest of your life.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like,
That's
okay,
what's crazy,
I'm just
bro.
going to sit here and concentrate on FIFA knowing that at any point like my life can just be radically different,
As
like
soon as I get that call.
yeah. So it's, one of those things where, yeah, dude, it's kind of wild.
No, and that's why, I mean, you and I were talking off air about doing this to kind of document this is the pre ordeal. And then once everything happens and you guys are settled in, we'll definitely check back in. You know what I mean? See if you pulled your fucking beard hair out yet.
Yeah, that's the thing where like right now I'm all like confident, like yo, like my in-laws are here, my parents are here, like my wife's up, like we're cool, don't worry about it, blah blah blah. You know, I'm gonna talk to you in whatever it is. Yeah, bro, head's gonna be shaved, beard's gonna be
We're
shaved,
like, dude,
be like just face covered in just
I
like
had it fucked up.
it's like, bro, I should have read more books, man. I don't know what I was thinking, bro. So, yeah, dude, fortunately, uh, we can document this. And I would love to see it or like watch it before and be like that
That
naive.
motherfucker.
Um, but yeah, man, I appreciate you giving me the platform to come on and share my, I guess, what people will call words of wisdom with your listeners. And maybe in the interim, you should solicit. I would love to see if people have questions for like things I expected or didn't expect or what I've learned. If any of your listeners have questions
Yeah, for like new fathers and stuff, or maybe advice. Anybody out there who's had kids recently, maybe got a couple gems to drop on you.
yeah, honestly, I welcome all help and advice, tidbits
Help
of
me.
information. Y'all got hand-me-down clothes, like
Send it through.
Got you.
Got old expired breast milk. Fuck it, we out here.
Yeah. Don't send that.
No, I'm fucking around. But yeah, man, we're at like 45 minutes. So we can wrap it up for the first fatherhood episode with Pat. But as you know, stay safe, stay smart, stay sexy, and stay tuned.
Yeah.
Yeah, much love, Pat. I appreciate you, bro. We're definitely gonna have you back on.
Appreciate you, bro. Thanks for having me, man.
You the fucking man. Peace.
Likewise, brother. Take care, man.